during this difficult time for me, all I wanted was one thing, and that was space. I wanted emotional space, mental space. I wanted to sit and stare out the window. I didn't know exactly what that meant or how it was going to feed me. I just knew that that's all I needed. Welcome to Phoenix Rising, a superior podcast for all of your transformative tools for personal and spiritual growth. Let's go get that nugget. Hey guys, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode. Remember I used to say, and then I hope I find you blankety blank. And if you're not blankety blank, then it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. It's been a year and a half and that still rolls off the tongue as if I'm just saying my name. So instead of finding you blankety blank, I think I would like for you to have a desire to slow down, to create space, to relax into something new. You know, when we are younger and we're becoming that different version of ourselves, we go from not driving to driving. There's this conscious awareness right there, this waking up, like you just become solely aware of how you manage this car down the road. And then once you do that several times, then your subconscious picks up the habit. And now you can just drive down the road without even thinking about it. You can drive from here to there without even thinking about it. And the only time stress comes around is if you're driving in a big city and you are unfamiliar with your surroundings and where you're going. And then you become awake again, right? It's this, but that's the waking up part. And in today's episode, as we've been talking about dark night of the soul, and you can call it that, you can call it identity crisis, midlife crisis. It doesn't have to be a crisis, but it's a crisis if you don't go. It has this sensations of being a crisis because it's scary and it's this unknown and we don't know how to go. But when we're younger and we are moving through these stages, there's scary parts of it, going to college or leaving home or getting married or buying a house or having kids. There's fear and scariness there because it's new and it's unknown. But the bottom line is, can I handle it? Do I have the skill and the knowledge or the awareness or the desire to be able to handle what's coming? And a new identity shift isn't any different because here's the fun thing. You get to decide. You get to decide how you show up with this new identity. Now, the only issue that I'm realizing through my own experience with this is I didn't know I was going through anything. I just woke up one day and felt super heavy and couldn't figure out why I didn't want to get out of bed and why all of a sudden I didn't want to produce my podcast anymore and I didn't want to coach and I didn't want to speak and I didn't want to move forward with things in my life that I have been moving forward with for several years. And I hit a wall. And I wonder if that's something that you're going through right now. If you've come up to this wall and you just can't see a way around it or over it or under it. And you're feeling the sensations of this identity shift. And today we're going to talk about creating space. When we are moving into this new identity and this new era in our life, then because it's got this fear to it, it's this scariness, this uncertainty, we don't know how to navigate. And today, in my experience, it lasted, I'm still kind of in it, but it lasted roughly, the real dark parts lasted about 18 months, which to be honest, was like the longest 18 months of my life, other than a really bad relationship I had years ago. That was really long. But with this, it had some hope to it because as I started learning about what was happening to me, I started creating this hope that I'm going to come out on the other side, a different version, a better version of myself. The caterpillar transitions into the butterfly. The caterpillar dies to itself when no longer identifies as a caterpillar and now is a butterfly and now has this freedom, but this new identity, this new way of living and existing in the world. And I had hope for myself for that. I had hope that things that I was dealing with, that these really tough emotions, I would be able to step fully into myself. And one of the things that I really noticed during this time, and I remember talking to Amy, who's my partner, 15 years, is like, all I want to do is just sit here and stare out the window. And she's like, well, then just sit there and stare out the window. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I have a business to run. Like we need to make money, and I need to keep seeing my clients, and I still have these things on the calendar. And she's like, you need to take care of yourself first. I'm like, oh yeah, tell me about self-care. Tell me about what I got to do for self-care. And it's just funny because she and I struggle with that. I'm certainly better at it than she is, but we definitely have this conversation all the time. And it's kind of fun, but it was necessary. Self-care became the number one priority for me. And I'm very intuitive, so I have this practice that I was doing every day to connect to my intuition. And when I connect to my intuition, I get little nudges and some messages and connection, really, and I can feel my heart open. And if you've ever experienced this before, it's a very powerful thing. It doesn't feel like, like a jet stream just opened or anything, but it's like, to me, I describe it as like a portal with like a circular door. And it just opens, it's like deep in my chest. And I know that I'm connected. And right here, I can ask for support. I can ask to be shown things. I can ask to be guided. And I'm connecting to Mother Earth, and I'm connecting to source energy. It's what I call this energy field that we're all connected to. And when I started connecting to intuition, I recognized that this was kind of my calling to be my regular practice. And so last episode, I was telling you, I kind of dove further and deeper into my meditation practice. And I do mala beads and meditation, and sometimes that meditation is walking or working out. Sometimes it's sitting quietly. It depends on my energy level. And with this intuitive practice, it was all about connecting and guidance. And it was hard in the beginning to listen to that guidance. You go to the teacher and you say, hey, you know what? I need some help with this thing. What advice do you have? And they give you advice. And you're like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Like when I was a personal trainer, several of my clients over the course of years would come up to me and be like, so I really want to, lose 20 pounds before my sister's wedding. What do I got to do? And I'm like, like diet and exercise, eat better, don't consume as many calories, stay away from foods that don't benefit your body in an energetic way, and move your body. And they're like, oh, okay. And they'd walk away all deflated, and then they're going to go find some diet program. And I had one client who always used to ask me, so she'd come to class and she'd be like, so Jen, I have to ask you, what do you think about whatever said diet? And I'm like, okay, when I use the word diet, what I mean is what you eat to fuel your body. Like eat natural foods that fuel your body, not take energy from your body, like sugar and alcohol and caffeine. They take energy from your body and they don't give back. Not the same way that you think. And she always used to get so defeated because I'm like, I'm not buying into these quote diet programs that you get on and you get off. Anyway, so a little side note there. But when people would ask me these things, how do I get through this? How do I get over this? And I would give them my best answer based on my own experience. And they didn't always like my answer. So here I am connecting to intuition. And a lot of it, the message was consistent, is create space. Simplify and create space. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this knowledge? Like, really, what do I do with that? Like, sit all day long? And it was really, really, really challenging because when I wake up and I get up and I'm standing, I, go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and get ready and put my contacts in and I get ready to have breakfast. By the time I get through that and I'm standing in the kitchen, if I slept pretty good, I am 100%. I'm wide awake. I have a ton of energy. I'm ready to go. What I can't do right there, well, I can't do, it was hard, is to now sit still. So Amy and I, we would have some weekends together and we're like, okay, let's get grounded. And we would sit down and we would kind of think about our intention and I would kind of walk us through this grounding and we would kind of move our energy inward and we would kind of push it down through our feet. If you don't know what grounding is, feel free to go out and search on Spotify and on mine, or go to YouTube and whatever and search for grounding videos. But it really is, it's amazing, a really, really wonderful way to organize your energy, especially if you're feeling anxious and your energy is high up in your body, is to ground, pull that energy down into your body and it organizes how you feel on the inside. It organizes your state of being on the inside. That was a daily practice, and sometimes multiple times a day. So I am doing grounding, and it was challenging for us to sit still. We both have very similar energy that we are like, go, 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 push, go, force, kink the hose, if you've heard my hose analogy, but push and force and move with that pressure that we're giving ourselves. And I'm like, I just want to sit down and stare out the window. I love being outside. I love, I feed the birds, I feed the squirrels. I have a beautiful backyard. I have 4 turtles, and I had ponds set up for both of them. I have 4 turtles, but I had 2 ponds because I have a red-eared slider that is nothing but trouble. And I would just go and sit. And I would sit, and I would sit, and I would sit. And it was so refreshing. It was so refreshing. I can't even explain it. Like, I knew that as I was learning my meditation practice, and I was teaching all of you how to meditate, how to get connected, how to get grounded, how to use the power of this external source, this energy or God power to kind of influence our lives and heal the body or create things that you wanted to experience in your life. And now I'm sitting and doing that, but it's completely different. It feels different. It feels refreshing. It's kind of like, if you've ever gone camping and you're gone for several days and maybe you do a couple dips in the pool or the river, or not the pool, the lake or the river or whatever, ocean even. And then you come home and you're in your own shower, and it's just this amazing feeling and sensation to get home and to wash your hair and to just get through this refreshing sensation. That's what this was like to me. Have you ever experienced anything like that where you have this, it could be a daily practice, this practice or an exercise that you do that feels so amazing? And so that's what I started doing. Now, there were days that I forgot or didn't want to do it or had so much energy that I just couldn't do it. So I figured out something else. But this was my way to create space. Now, yesterday, I recorded it yesterday, but in the last podcast, I talked about looking at these 4 categories and thinking of yourself as a vibrational conduit, if you will, of what your number is in each of these categories. And it was emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual. I'm going to add spatial today as I talk about space. So I'm an empath, and so intuitively, I feel energy, I feel moods of people, I feel energy of things, objects, animals. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. It can be extremely overwhelming if I'm in large crowds, if I'm in areas or around people who have a lot of negative energy or heavy energy. I immediately feel that. Like, there's times where I've gone shopping, and Amy and I split up. And so she's over in groceries and I'm over in like toiletries or something. And all of a sudden I felt like I was going to start bawling, and I just had no idea what was going on. And I had this increase of anxiety and kind of panic, where I'm just like, I have to get out of here. So I sent her a text real quick and I said, I don't know what's going on, but I need to get out of this store. And she's like, okay. And I said, I'm just going to go sit in the car and I'll be right back. So I went and sat in the car. I bawled my face off and I had this anxious feeling, this high, heavy but chaotic energy up in my body. Has this ever happened to you where you're just like, nothing happened? I didn't run into anybody, I didn't talk to anybody, nothing happened. And I was like, I picked up something. That was a couple of years ago. That was probably a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago now. And I've not had many experiences, certainly nothing to that degree, but I've had some where I'm just like, okay, I just can't be here anymore. And I just remove myself, but I am more aware of it faster than what that was. Anyway, I went to the car and was like grounding myself. And it's like, it's okay, you're safe. But to me, it was like, what the heck was that? So all these things that were happening to me started to come together in this understanding and this deeper knowledge of or during this 18 months, like all of these things that I didn't know was a part of me or my plan. Like I've heard of empaths before or intuits, and it didn't make any sense to me. Like I heard that word, but I didn't really fully understand until literally these 18 months. I didn't know, like I knew I could connect to intuition, but I didn't know that that was like a thing that other people didn't have on a regular basis. You know, we would go to family gatherings and I'm like, I have to go sit in the car, or I can't go. And I would just, you know, we'd fake something and I just wouldn't go. Because I could just feel that the energies. Now there's ways around that. Like if you feel this way, there's lots of ways around that. And that's not for today's call, but there are ways to protect your energy and set the intention about where you're going so you can be a part of larger groups and crowds and even family members that you want to go to said thing, but you know that maybe you're not going to feel energetically great about it. There's ways to do that. And we can get into that throughout the episode, you know, when we start talking about intuition and empath, and because that's totally a thing. And apparently that's a thing for me too. So a blessing and a curse. So let's talk about creating space, because that was what I was definitely, man, I was craving it. Have you ever craved something so bad that you're just like a bull in a china shop? You're just barreling through after the red flag and you're just like, give me that thing. That was me. So I would try to push my business forward. So I'm making posts or writing a blog or trying to record a podcast, and I would just like fall apart. I would just feel like the 2x4 was coming straight for my head, and I would turn everything off. I would turn the microphone off. I'd shut the computer and I would go upstairs. And I'm like, I just want to sit here. And then I remember hearing a voice, then sit there. And so I would just kind of sit on the couch, and the sun was shining, and I would just stare out the window. I felt kind of crazy doing it. But man, it was so refreshing. So there's a couple of things here. One, there's a lot of things here to unpack, and we're just going to keep kind of going and giving you little nuggets at a time. But one is definitely paying attention. Pay attention to what it is you are asking for, even if it's not available to you. Like, I just want to get away. Like if you say that, or I just want to take a nap, or I just want to go outside, or I just want to get away. Pay attention to when those things surface in your life, because that's your intuition really coming forward. So I started paying attention. Another thing is, as we talk about these areas, is creating creating space in each of those areas. So emotional space. Well, if I think of emotions like we defined it in the last episode, which is my connections with other people, when Amy and I would get together on a weekend, we'd go for a walk, take the dogs, go for a trip, take a drive, whatever, we found ourselves talking about our problems. We're talking about the kids, what they're doing, whatever situation they have going on. We're talking about my family, her family. We're talking about business, coaching, clients, whatever, that we just kept exerting more and more energy in our engagements during our, what would be quality time. And we started recognizing that it was kind of taking away from instead of adding to. So when you think of those four, or this case, the spatial awareness too, or spatial space, creating spatial space, is those 5 areas, is you want whatever it is that you're doing to fill that category, but you want it to add to, not take away. So like in the area of emotions, is that now when Amy and I go for a walk, we don't talk about a problem. We don't talk about solutions. We don't try to, quote, figure it out. We look at our surroundings. We look at beautiful flowers, or we see birds or cars or a house or a dog or a puppy or something. And we talk about whatever is present in our view at the moment. Did you hear that? Did you see that? Oh my gosh, they smell so good. So we're being very present, because then at the end of our walk, our emotional state is better. It's more renewed. Now, the mental state, that is really an easy one. And I love this one because our mental capacity is not very big as humans. It is not very big. We can exert more physical energy, most of us, than emotional or mental energy. And for me, when I'm like recording or posting or writing or editing, all of the things I do in my business, that requires a lot of mental energy for me. And in order for me to replenish, I have to go outside. So I take the dogs, we go for a walk. Or I have a pretty good sized backyard. And so I'll just walk laps in the backyard. I'll go and do something that is mindless. And I'll sit and stare out the window. I have a hammock chair. Man, do I love that thing. And I'll just sit in the hammock chair and watch the turtles in the pond. Or I'll sit in the living room and stare out the window. And I can feel my mental energy increasing. And it feels so good. It's kind of like when you're dying of thirst and you take a drink of ice cold water and you can just feel it go all the way down. That's what this feels like. It's refreshing. The other one is your physical state. That, of course, is just like stop doing physical exertion. Like stop doing whatever you're doing. Stop digging the ditch. Stop planting the thing or climbing the tree, whatever you're doing, and relax. But you also do need to move your body. Sometimes moving my body helps me to fill that physical energy category. And sometimes it's about relaxing. But sometimes it's about a walk, a little bit of yard work. You know, like I said, I love being outside. So you have to kind of figure it out for you, what you enjoy doing, what you don't enjoy doing, and then really being specific of when I do this said activity, which one of these categories gets filled up. And then I would say, put it in a journal, write it down. So you now go, okay, check in. Oh yeah, my mental energy is a 4. Okay, I need to replenish. You go to that list. You're like, oh, there's a list. I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to go walk the dogs through the neighborhood. I'm going to go rake the leaves. I'm going to go sweep the deck, right? These are all things that I do to help with that. The next one is your spiritual. Well, I did mention this in the last episode, and I hope I'm not being redundant, but the spiritual is your meaning and purpose. All I had to do here is talk about it. So now what I could do is I could go walk the dogs with Amy and talk about something that I just learned that day. Not problem solving, that's different. Something I learned, something that was exciting. I'm hitting 3 of those categories in one trip around the block. So my emotional with Amy because I'm with her and the dogs. My mental because I'm doing something that's kind of mindless. I'm just walking with them. And the third is, and physical, I'm hitting 4. And then the fourth one is a spiritual because I could talk about something that's meaningful to me. That's my meaning and my purpose, which is this work, which is helping you, which is talking about stuff like this. Now, the last one, and this is what I want to spend the last couple of minutes on. The last one is your spatial. This is a spatial category. So when I love to organize, I love to clean and I love to organize. So we had a situation in our basement. And it's a walkout basement. So this is where my office is. So I have a big, huge slider door. It looks out the backyard. And that's where I'm sitting. My desk now faces that door. And so I collect a lot of stuff. So I have a lot of things. I have a lot of hobbies. I see something I like it, I buy it. And I also have over 500 books. So in my office, in this office area, I had like 6 bookshelves. And so I also called it my library. Okay. And I also record my podcast in here. So anyway, I'm going to pull a book off the bookshelves. And if you know me, you know I have a lot of books and I love them. And some are worth a lot and some I've had for a long time. Almost all of them are in the personal development field. They mean a lot to me. I go to pull a book off the bookshelf and it's soaking wet. I about lost my mind. So now it's like the third bookshelf, or the second from the bottom or the third from the top, however you say it. So I pull these bookshelves off and I'm like, oh my God. What in the world is going on? Pull all these bookshelves off. There's 2 or 3 or 4 of them that are wet and they're like moldy. And I'm like, what is happening? So I empty this entire book, set up a big table, empty this entire bookshelf. I pull the bookshelf away from the wall and the whole entire wall is covered in black mold. I'm like, what the ever loving is going on? So for about a month, it was the longest month of my life. All of my bookshelves, the entire office, the carpet, everything, the tile, everything that was in there, the drywall, did I say the carpet? The carpet, drywall on that whole entire wall that had the slider door on it, and then 2 small parts of the adjacent walls. The entire room got emptied into my gym area, which is the main part of the basement. And so all my gym equipment. So I have all these tables set up. There's 5 tables set up, big tables, eight by whatever, and 6 foot in a square 4-foot table, whatever, with all my books and all the stuff. And my entire office is now out in the gym. So ask me if I can use the gym. Yeah, no, I can't, because all the stuff is out there. It looks like I'm having an estate sale. There's just stuff everywhere. I'm like, holy crap, I have a lot of stuff. So now I'm having a really hard time because my entire life has been turned upside down. Now that is being dramatic, but it felt very dramatic, because remember, I can feel the energy of chaos. So every time I come downstairs to let the dogs out into my backyard, I have to walk through this 2-foot little trail through all these tables and all the stuff to get to the slider door to let the dogs out to go outside. So I have to walk through all this chaos. It was very stressful for me. Now, most people be like, dude, that's my entire house all day long. That's not mine. I like to get rid of things. I like to downsize. I like to clean. I call it like de-energize, release some of the stuff. So I started selling things, getting rid of things. Off to Goodwill I went, into the garbage it went, all kinds of things. I had to replace some books. So of course, now I'm reordering some of the books that didn't make it. Anyway, lo and behold, there was a leak coming in through the slider door. It was an old slider door. It's an older house. And leaked through both the bottom corners. So every time it would rain or snow and melt and whatever, it's leaking through here. And then, of course, if you know anything about drywall, it's like a freaking sponge, and it just absorbed it diagonally up the wall. Well, I have bookshelves everywhere. I don't know what's behind the bookshelf until I know what's behind there. So also, all of us are snotting, sneezing, and like runny eyes all the time. Well, if you know anything about black mold, there you go. So it's not healthy to be in your house. So anyway, so we have the entire door replaced. We have the walls replaced. We have the drywall, new carpet, new flooring, new paint. So I painted the floor, and then put brand new pad, new carpet down, new drywall, new walls, and a brand new slider door. It was a lot of work. So about a month later, then it was immediately, I'm like, Monday morning. So the door and everything got done. It was like, now it's like Friday. Saturday, we go downstate to a track meet. Sunday, I had to go clean my friend's office. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. Monday morning, Cameron goes to work, or goes to school. Amy goes to work. And I'm like, boom, let's go. Let's get that office back together. Now, what is this happening? The organizing, I am rearranging the space, my space, the space that I live in, the space that energetically is supposed to feed my body. Remember, space, these categories are supposed to feed you, not take away from you. When I look at someone's space, I go into houses, I can feel if there's chaos in the space. Immediately, I can feel it. And if anybody in that area is like, oh yeah, I just suffer anxiety. And I'm thinking, I don't always say this. I think if you were to organize your space, probably 50% of your anxiety would go down. If you organize your space. Now, if you live locally and you want some space organized, let me know, because I'm happy to help. It is one of my favorite things to do. I'm really good at it because I can feel the flow of energy. Anyways. So, or if you want to fly me out to wherever you live, I'll stay in a nice hotel and I'll be happy to help you organize your space. I'm not kidding. Reach out to me. It is one of my favorite things to do. I'm happy to help. And I'm serious. So I think that organizing your space is huge. Finding places for things is huge. I did that in my office, and I'm in love with the space. I'm in love with the space because over in this corner, doesn't matter, over in this corner is like my 2 favorite bookshelves with glass doors and my big overstuffed dark red chair and a really nice soft light, a floor lamp. And it's like, oh, that's my little reading nook. And then here's my recording space. And then behind me are my 2 biggest bookshelves. And then I have my project table. It's just like, it's so like, and that's how you want it to be. So when we're creating space, when the body is asking for space, it's asking for less noise, less pressure, less responsibilities. It's asking for softness, a little bit of peace, a little bit of room to breathe. It's calming the nervous system. It's healing the body. It's relaxing the brain. All of the things that we use. People think, well, I have shit to do. Like, I got to get stuff done. I don't have time for that. And I go, you don't not have time for it. This is something, if you spend 5 or 10 minutes, a day organizing your space, put stuff away, close the mental tabs, close the physical tab in your space, you do something like I'm going to go put the screw in the wall and hang this frame, put the screwdriver back, take the garbage out, like the packaging material, finish the thing, rinse the dishes, do the dishes, empty the dishwasher, put the things away. You're going to find that there's going to be way more peace in your life, less anxiety, less nervous system disruption, less overwhelm, less chaos. Doesn't that already feel like a breath of fresh air? Now, based on what we talked about, what are you going to do next? What is it that you need to be your next best self? Do you need more mental, emotional, or physical space? Do you need those categories to be lifted a little bit more? Do you need a little bit more purpose, a little bit more spiritual space? Do you need a little bit more spatial space? I know it's a little bit redundant. I didn't know what else to call it, but it's creating a space in your life, in a room, a little corner of your room, a little corner of the living room, a little corner of the bedroom that feeds you. What are you going to do? Where are you right now in your life that needs a little bit of clearing, a little bit where that thing feeds me? I would recommend, if I could recommend anything, write these 4 or 5 categories down and then figure out how to create different routines. Short, they could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you have, that feed you. Because this was a dark space for me. And I don't know if you've ever gone through anything like this. I don't know if you're in a place where it feels a little overwhelming, where things just feel like life is getting hard and life is feeling redundant or repetitive or obnoxious or scary or heavy or dark. These are the things that I went through. And I love sharing them with you, and I hope that you're enjoying this podcast so far. It's kind of a new rebirth. I call it Phoenix Rising, and now it's Phoenix Rising Rebirth, because this is the newer version of me stepping forward. Different stories, different tools, different techniques, and I hope that you're finding it in a place that meets you where you are, that is something here that can help you just to take the next couple of steps forward. So I look forward. We're going to keep going. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about in the next one, but I'm sure it's going to be good. So stick with me and come over to my Facebook page. Just look up Jen Mac, JenMac. Follow my page. Send me a direct message if you have any questions or anything that's going on. I'd be happy to help. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to walking with you. Thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to follow the show, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need to hear this too. It truly helps this work reach more people. If you'd like to go deeper or support the podcast, you can find everything linked in the show notes, including a way to support the show or explore my upcoming events, circles, and free resources. I'm really grateful you're here. I hope this episode met you exactly where you are and gave you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation.